Look at it. Look at it! Look at it! You gotta get into a defensive stance to look at this mother. You gotta look. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. You're the greatest. Thank you, doctor. We wouldn't know what to do without you, doctor. I get it. I can get it.
Oh, what's this?
We're gonna keep track. Our highest kill count all day. We're looking for that 100 kill game.
Can you feel the AGI?
Yeah, it's going that cool.
I'm going for 100 kills. And there's a lot of skittishness, a lot of pathetic flappers going like this, saying you can't get it done, doctor.
Come on, dude. Give me my mouse back.
Take it back.
Watch this today. Watch.
Artificial general intelligence.
Shake him up, baby. More coming to back one out.
Nice.
Take these damn tanks out of here. Let me see if I can get over one more clip and then somebody
You're lucky I picked up somebody's fucking weapon. You're lucky. We need to go big right here, man. Come on, 100.
My God, what you doing is so loud.
I didn't turn it down low. That's dot.
Oh,
It's a video dot. Highlight reel.
it's the lady night for that shit. No.
they're all girls. They're like fighting us.
Okay, so this. How do I get up there normally? Do I literally have to go around? Let's see. Ouch. Get up this hill. Oh wait, how did I pass her house? It's down here. You gotta go down here. What? I thought her house was above. Alright, let's see. There's the bridge. What is happening right now? Okay. Icon's throwing us off a little bit. Punishing me for not having the area memorized. Basically. Ah, come on, dude.
Go outside and get some air, Jim. Jesus.
Hey, Carl.
Things are starting to heat up inside the arena,
Carl,
aren't
I'm
they?
hungry, baby. Let's
Yeah,
go
it's
out
been a
and
little
eat.
bit of a roller
there
coaster
with
emotion.
She likes
A lot of you
diners.
complaining, bitching and whining and constant complaints.
found
and rain
out.
And everything else. Champs, inside of the arena.
And she
You ever
likes to
seen a
drive
6'8"
fast.
gaming brain complain? There's no time for that. Because as you can see, we know what we're doing.
Oh my.
Oh, Carl, don't stop here.
Dude, I missed 5 point-blank shotguns with this guy in front of me.
OG low, OG joke is more like it.
God. Doc, thank you for bringing an inspiration and absolutely hilarious 24/7. So I'm so laughing. It's like someone to laugh at.
Shit,
Got it.
that was good.
Thank you for saying. Got it. Hey, Doc's live. Hey, dude, hey, let's just laugh at this guy.
Don't stop. Dude, be careful.
There's a little diner in here. Find some flowers.
That was delicious.
Judas
How
Iscariot. Judas Iscariot wasn't just a
That was
disciple
great,
of
but I
Jesus.
really got to
He is
get
a
back.
symbol
I'm
of the
definitely
greatest
not a boring
betrayal in the
girlfriend,
spiritual
Carl.
history of humanity. Among the 12 disciples handpicked by Jesus, Judas held a significant role. He was responsible for the group's finances. But behind his role as treasurer was a heart filled with ambition and disappointment. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, verses 14 to 16, Judas went to the chief priests and asked, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?" And they counted out for him 30 pieces of silver, the price of a slave. The moment of betrayal took place in the Garden of
Price of a
Gethsemane.
slave,
With a
huh?
kiss, Judas identified Jesus to the
Dude,
soldiers
guys,
who came
stop.
to arrest him. Ironically, he used
It's
the
gonna
sign
make
of
me go get the
love to betray
horseshoes.
love himself.
It's
While
weird,
the rewards
after
came
you
later,
finish the
Judas
game,
threw
then
the
you
silver into
realize
the
how you
temple
should
and
have played
hanged
it the
himself.
first
Matthew
time,
chapter 27,
which is a
verses
bummer,
35.
but you do.
Like the
The damage had
girlfriend.
been
Yeah,
done.
you
Judas
figure
was
out the
not
mechanics
afflicted
of it, and
and
you're like,
was
well, I should
able
have
to
finished, I
for
should have
his
done the side
actions.
missions in
But
each little
because
area.
he
It would have
witnessed
helped.
miracle after miracle,
Remember how
he
frustrated I
ran
was
from
getting at the end of the
Jesus.
game?
And
So
still
you
took
just need to
silver.
remember that
He
portion.
was not an
I
enemy of
think that's
God, but a
actually how I
tool
played
within.
4,
And that,
just
according to many
naturally.
theologians, is the purest form of
I
evil.
remember doing the girlfriend stuff. Like, I remember
King
not rushing
Ahab.
through the story
King
mode.
Ahab was not merely a
And I
weak
enjoyed
king.
that game,
He was a
remember?
ruler who
Yeah.
ushered in an era of moral
So, that
darkness
was
in
all. I just
Israel.
kind of ran. You
Reigning over the
can't do the
northern
story
kingdom in the 9th
missions. Like, you
century
can try,
BC,
but I think it's
Ahab is
tough.
known
If you
from the book of
ignore
1
all the
Kings as
side
the
stuff
king
and the little
who did more
bonuses it
evil
gives
in the
you,
Because the
eyes of
side
the
stuff
Lord than
basically
any of those before him.
little
1
stuff.
Kings chapter
Huh?
16, verse 30. But his greatest
Mm-hmm.
sin was marrying Jezebel, the Phoenician
Just like the
princess,
one
who
where you
introduced the
keep
cult
all
of
your
Baal
weapons after you
worship
die.
on a
That's
grand scale
huge,
into
bro.
Israel.
Yeah.
Ahab built a temple for Baal in Samaria
No, that would
along
have
with
been a really
sacrificial
good one to
poles,
have.
making false worship a national policy.
It was right.
Under
Well, I had to
Jezebel's
go get ready.
influence,
Remember,
Ahab
every time I
persecuted the
failed a
Lord's
mission, I had to
prophets and
go back,
allowed the people
get not
to
just
go
buy, but then
astray
I had to.
spiritually.
So then
One of his
basically,
most brutal acts
Oh,
involved the
I'm
vineyard
getting
of
in. I'm in.
Naboth. When a common man refused
I
to
think it's
sell
my
his
oysters.
ancestral land, Ahab sulked
That's the
like a
deal. Once you have
child.
the oysters,
Jezebel
you
then
have
orchestrated a
100%.
conspiracy to have
So see
Naboth
then,
falsely accused of
having
cursing
that
God and
Would have
have him
made the
stoned to death
girlfriends.
so that
I
Ahab
wouldn't
could
have had to
seize
take.
his
Remember how many
land.
times I had to
The
take Denise
prophet
to the
Elijah
dance
then
club, bro?
condemned Ahab and
then
prophesied
you would
the
A
total destruction of his
have
family line.
circumvented
And it
a
came to
lot of
pass.
that. Yeah.
Ahab died on the
So,
battlefield,
that's what I mean.
his
So now
blood
you
licked
just
up
need
by
to remember
dogs, a
that.
prophecy
But either
horrifically
way, when
fulfilled.
you're playing
King
uh,
Ahab is
this
a
one,
classic
you still
example
got
of power
stuck, and
sacrificed
maybe
for the
you were
sake of
playing it the
compromise and
same
greed.
way. You're
mm.
trying to explore the
Well,
side stuff.
I was thinking maybe
Jezebel is
that's
no
why I got
ordinary
stuck
queen.
the
She is the
first time.
absolute
Because you weren't
symbol of
good
I got
female
towards the
wickedness
end of the
in the
game. I
entire
weren't doing the side
Judeo-Christian
missions. I was
tradition.
trying, and then I
The
got
daughter of
frustrated at
King
how hard it
Ethbaal of
was.
Sidon,
And then,
Jezebel brought the worship of
Jetpack,
Baal and
you would
Asherah
have.
into the
no,
heart of
jetpack
Israel when
makes
she
things so
married King
easier. Yeah.
Ahab. But what made
There's
her so
also
evil was not
horseshoes you
merely
can
her
collect for
idolatry,
better
it was her
luck.
brutal aggression
Yeah,
toward all
see,
that
What a lot
represented
of
the
that
God
shit
of
I'm bitching
Israel.
about would probably
In 1
disappear if
Kings
I got all the
chapters 18 through
horseshoes.
21,
Them
she is
turning in
described as
front of me
hunting down and
constantly. That
slaughtering
well,
the Lord's
Or like
prophets,
that,
that's
forcing
in
Elijah
there.
himself to
that
flee into the
policeman
wilderness
that
from
was
her
right in front
threats.
of you.
Her
That yeah,
wickedness
that
reached
get
its
death
peak
trap.
when she
So if
forged
you would have
official
had
royal
all
letters
your
to arrange the murder
horseshoes,
of
That wouldn't have
Naboth,
happened.
an
They would have
innocent
gave me the
farmer who
luck.
refused to sell
You
his
wouldn't.
field. She
So
arranged
it's
for
little
or you
shit
Naboth to
like
be
wouldn't have been
that.
able
accused
to
of
get away.
blasphemy and stoned to
Mm-hmm.
death. Then
Yep.
calmly presented the vineyard to Ahab. Not only
Uh,
did she ally with corrupt
Oh
power,
shit.
what's her name
Jezebel
would say, luck
manipulated
is a
law and
superpower,
religion
bro.
for her own personal
No, no,
gain.
true though. It is.
Domino.
But her
It
death
is.
As
mirrored her
Domino
evil.
would
Yeah.
say, it's a
Thrown from a
superpower.
window by
But I
her enemy
figured, you know what I
attendants,
mean? Like these
bodies
good
trampled by
games,
horses and dogs
someone
devouring her
else was
flesh until
talking about a
little was
game
left.
today they play.
2 Kings
Every few
chapter
years
9
they
verses
play it.
30
I was
to
like, I'll just
37.
have to remember that
Even in
next
the New
time I play
Testament,
it.
her name
Yeah.
appears as a metaphor for a false
Like I
prophet and
probably
a
will play
seducer.
it again.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 20. Jezebel was not merely
It's just
evil,
those
she was
games that, yeah, if you like
legendary.
them, you play them, you replay them every few years.
Herod the Great.
Just like a
Herod the
book.
Great is known to the world as the king who rebuilt the
So,
Jerusalem temple. But in the gospel narrative, he is remembered as the bloodthirsty king who
I don't know
ordered
if
the
I
slaughter
date
of
this
the
girl or she.
infants
Oh,
of
what
Bethlehem.
the?
He was appointed by the Roman Empire
A
as
monster
king of the
truck?
Jews
What's going on
around
here?
37 BC, but his
Why do
reign
I have
was
a
marked by
monster truck
cruelty,
right here?
paranoia, and the systematic murder of anyone he considered a
And
threat,
now look, she
including his
fixes
own
my
sons.
car for
His
free.
greatest crime is
One of my
recorded in the
girlfriends.
Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 16. After hearing from the Magi about the prophecy of the birth of the King of the Jews, Herod panicked. Unsure of
What's
the
with the
child's
monster
identity, he
trucks?
ordered the killing of all male
Look at
children 2
this
years
Chevy.
old and under in Bethlehem and its vicinity. This event is
Slot.
known
Oh,
as the
that's her.
Massacre
Oh,
of
I
the
can go on a date with her.
Innocents,
She is here.
one of the most
Sweet.
horrifying tragedies in biblical history. The
Oh,
historicity
and
of
I
this
have
event
flowers.
is debated, but it is consistent with the
Perfect.
character of Herod known from the records of the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus.
I'm not
He
going to do
executed
all
his
the
favorite wife
girlfriends. I
and
just
3
don't
of his
want
sons
to be at
and other
0.
royal relatives on mere suspicion of a coup.
Hey, sexy
At the end of
lady.
his life, Herod suffered from a
Ooh,
terrible
TJ,
disease and
now.
died in
Hell, this
isolation
your
and
day.
fear.
I'm
He
just
was
there
not
for fun.
just a king. He was a paranoid tyrant who unleashed
Okay,
horror
I
to
got to know
protect
what
his
this girl
throne.
likes. Fucked up last time.
Dude, did you order the new iPhone 17 Pro? Got it from Verizon, the best 5G network in America. I never looked so good.
You look the same.
But with this camera, everything looks better,
She
especially
like
me.
You
diners,
haven't changed
fast
your hair in
food.
15 years. Selfies? Check, please.
With Verizon, get the new iPhone 17 Pro, designed to be the most
Oh,
powerful
I got
iPhone
Michelle
ever,
now.
plus a new iPad and
What
Apple
is
One.
Michelle
No
like,
trade-in
Mom?
needed. Offer ends November 5th with a new line on Unlimited Ultimate. Best 5G source root metrics data, United States 1H 2025. All rights reserved. Additional terms apply for all offers. See Verizon.com for
Yeah,
details.
the commercial.
Cain. Cain was not just a murderer, he was the first human to take another's life, making him the timeless symbol of jealousy, anger, and the destruction that comes from sin. In Genesis chapter 4, Cain and his brother Abel both brought offerings to the Lord, but the Lord looked with favor on Abel's offering of the firstborn of his flock, while he did not look with favor on Cain's offering from the fruit of the soil. Cain became furious, not at God, but at his own brother. Filled with vengeance, Cain invited Abel into the field and murdered him. No weapon is mentioned, for at that time, violence was a new thing in the human world. This was not merely a murder, it was the first symbol of sin's deadly
She
consequences
likes
in
the
human
bar.
relationships. When the Lord asked one hail, where is
She
your
likes
brother
driving
Abel?
fast.
Cain answered with the cold, cynical words that have echoed through the ages, am I my brother's keeper? As punishment, Cain was cursed to be a wanderer on the earth, yet God placed a mark
Oh,
on
that's
Cain so
kind of
that
cool.
no one would
Let's see.
kill him, creating a tension between justice and mercy.
Okay,
Cain
where's
was
the
not a
bar?
villain because of his strength, but
That's a
because of his
diner,
uncontrolled weakness. He's proof that sin is not just an
steakhouse.
act, but an inheritance passed down since the fall of man. Delilah was not a queen,
It's
a
a
general,
bar.
or
It's a
even a
bar.
false
Garcia,
prophet, yet
closest.
her betrayal has made her the timeless symbol of a seductive woman who destroys a man's strength through manipulation. Her story is recorded in Judges chapter 16.
Or
She was a
Gaydar
Philistine
Station.
woman who captured the
Garcia.
affection of Samson,
Oh, there
the
they are. Is
mighty
that
judge
Gaydar?
and warrior of Israel who was endowed with
Queens.
supernatural strength by
No,
God.
where was that?
The
That's a
Philistine
diner.
rulers, unable to defeat Samson physically, approached Delilah with the offer of a great reward to discover the secret of his strength. She pressed him repeatedly, and Samson lied to her several times, but
Go to
Delilah
the.
did
Oh,
not
wait.
give up. She kept nagging and preying on his emotions until Samson finally gave in and confessed that his strength came from his Nazarite hair, which had never been cut. Once Samson was asleep on her lap, Delilah called for an accomplice and had his hair cut off. Samson lost his strength, was blinded, and was made a spectacle in the temple of Dagon. Delilah was not just a personal betrayer. She was a political tool who destroyed the hope of the nation of Israel by exploiting the emotional weakness of one man. She proved that even the greatest strength can be shattered not
So
by a
she likes
sword, but
Darlene
by desire
Garcia.
and betrayal wrapped in a cloak of false love. Haman is one of the most cruel and cunning figures in all of Scripture, not merely for his personal ambition, but because he nearly committed genocide against the entire Jewish people. In the book of Esther, specifically chapters 3 through 7, Haman served as the prime minister under King Ahasuerus of Persia. When a Jew named Mordecai refused to kneel before him, Haman was not just enraged. He resolved to exterminate all of Mordecai's people from the kingdom. He twisted words, persuading the king to approve a decree for the annihilation of the entire Jewish people on a specific date. Full of arrogance, Haman even built a gallows 50 cubits high, about 75 feet, specifically for Mordecai. But his plan collapsed when Queen Esther, who it turned out was also Jewish, exposed his conspiracy to the king in a dramatic twist, Haman was hanged on the very
See, like
gallows he
that,
built
it's
for
all
his
just
enemy.
bad luck, go
Haman
bad
was
luck.
not just a personal
like
villain, he
this
is a
area?
systemic
I do.
representation of power abused to justify racial hatred.
Misfeast.
To this day,
It was
during
an
the
old Clint
celebration of
Eastwood movie.
Purim, the Jewish people read his story and make noise whenever his name is mentioned as a symbol of resistance against tyranny and hatred. Ananias and Sapphira. Ananias and Sapphira are a chilling example of how spiritual hypocrisy can lead to instant death. In the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 5, verses 1 to 11, this couple sold a piece of property and claimed to be giving the entire proceeds to the
No,
early
I'm
church
still seeing
community, which
NPCs
was
I
then
haven't
living in a
seen yet.
spirit
I
of
swear.
complete sharing. But secretly they held
I'd
back
never
part
seen
of
that
the money.
NPC before. I just
Not
saw a dude
because
with
they
the
were
box
stealing
on
in
his
the
head
legal sense, but because they
running
were
around, and the
pretending to
cops
give
were
everything
following him in a
Ananias came
helicopter.
first. When the Apostle Peter asked, "Why has Satan so filled your heart that you have lied to the
Was
Holy
that in the
Spirit?"
original?
Ananias immediately fell down and died. A few
Mm.
hours later, his wife Sapphira arrived, unaware of what had happened.
No, I swear
When
they've
Peter
updated
confronted
it,
her with
or
the
they're
same
just
lie, she too fell down and died instantly. Great
like
fear
I'm
seized
just
the whole
farther in the
church. There
game
was
than
no
I was
blood, no
before, so
murder,
I'm saying
only the
it's
naked
in-game
truth
content,
exposing a lie
maybe
and
just
God
in-game
delivering
content I
immediate
didn't see
judgment.
before.
Ananias and Sapphira are not known for physical cruelty, but for playing games with faith for the sake of their image. They are a symbol that in the presence of God, spiritual pretense
Now,
is
do I
more
take her
deadly than
back?
visible sin.
There, yep.
Doug the Edomite
I
may
already
not
gave
be
her
a well-known
flowers, so
name,
let's
but
just go
his
home.
crime
Yep.
shook the moral foundations of Israel. He was a power-hungry traitor, known from 1 Samuel chapters 21 and 22 as the Bloody Hand, who massacred the entire community of priests in the city of Nob on King Saul's orders, but with shocking willingness. When David, who was being hunted by Saul, sought refuge and food from Ahimelech, the priest at Nob, Doeg happened to witness the event. He later reported it to Saul in a cunning and misleading way, implying that the priests were conspiring with David. Saul, enraged and paranoid, ordered his guards to kill the priests, but they refused. Only Doeg was willing, and he carried it out ruthlessly. He struck down 85 priests, all of them wearing the linen ephod, a symbol of holy service. But he didn't stop there. He also put the entire town of Nob to the sword. Men and women, children and infants, and even the livestock. Doeg is a horrifying example of how a man can curry favor with power
Alright,
to
I
the
love
point
you,
of
mother.
becoming an instrument of murder.
Hey, I'm
He
proud
was
of you.
not a king, not a general, just an
It is.
ordinary man
Hey.
with a rotten ambition who silenced the voice of God with a sword.
No problem.
King Manasseh. King Manasseh is described in 2 Kings chapter 21 and 2 Chronicles chapter 33 as the most wicked king in the history of Judah. He reigned for 55 years, the longest of any king of Israel or Judah, but his reign was an era filled with spiritual abominations and bloodshed. He did not merely worship idols, he built altars for foreign gods inside the very temple of the Lord. Manasseh sacrificed his own sons in the fire, practiced sorcery and divination, and consulted mediums and spiritists, acts strictly forbidden by the law of Moses. He set up a carved image of Asherah in the temple and led the people into mass idolatry. The Bible says, moreover, Manasseh shed so much innocent blood that he filled Jerusalem from end to end. 2 Kings chapter 21, verse 16. His evil did not just destroy that generation, it provoked the Lord's anger that would eventually lead to
Oh, was it in
Jerusalem's fall to the Babylonians.
the
Ironically, at the end of his life,
laptop
after
bag?
being captured and exiled to Babylon,
No,
Manasseh
it
repented
was
and
out of
was
here.
restored
Yeah,
to
that
his
was
kingdom.
yesterday.
2 Chronicles chapter 33.
That's not it right there?
But
The
the
little
scars
black
he'd left on his nation could not be erased. Manasseh was not
an
just
eraser.
evil.
I
He was
thought
the
that was a
architect of a
charger.
nation's
Okay.
spiritual ruin.
And it's not in the back. Ask Bubs.
Why have you never found
Yeah.
yourself in a Ferrari?
Well, I just, Ferrari is a bit different company. It's much different now. When I was a young man, if you went into a Ferrari dealership, you couldn't buy the GTO or the whatever model. You had to buy two Mondials first and, put a swang over the thing here. And it didn't interest me. I didn't like the idea that I had to put
You, dude. Perfectly
it's not that way
fucking
anymore,
timed.
because
God damn it. Again, you're perfect.
there was a certain elite
Feeling to it.
I didn't like it. You go to the club.
Who the fuck does that, dude? Twice in a fucking row, dude. You're just suiciding on me. You guys are literally fucking two suicide drivers less than 100 feet apart from each other, dude. Come on, bros. No, man, come on, man. Fuck, right in front of me. Turning fucking right in front of me, dude. Stop. I get it. I get it. Fuck, constantly, bro. Every intersection.
I had it a couple months and they said there's an upgrade to
Every
600 some odd
fucking
horsepower.
intersection, dude. You fucking pieces of shit. Turning in front of me.
I mean, I felt like a customer when I bought my Ferrari GT. I bought the clutch first because I heard about the clutch. 6 inches, carbon fiber. I said, well, I bought a clutch. We took it apart and all the guys were amazed at it. I said, yeah, if the clutch is this good, the car's got to be made. So let's buy a little car kit. They brought one here. We put it up on the lift. The mechanic showed us how to work on it. Something I don't think I would have gotten, at least at the time, from a Ferrari dealership because they don't need my business. I like people who need my business. I like to be helpful to you, and you can be helpful. Oh, okay, great. Like with McLaren, I was kind of in the ground floor. I got one of the very first MP412Cs. A very clever name, the MP412C. Just rolls off the tongue.
MP412C.
I love that thing, and it's great. And I would do videos and do things. And McLaren would say, "Oh, thank you so much for helping us publicize the car." Oh, okay. You go to Pebble Beach, you're invited to the McLaren tent, and of course by this time, now they've sort of earned their medal, so to speak. The P1 had come out, and I bought one of the first one of those, and I like the company. I know everybody involved in the company, and they have good customer service. I'm sure some people go, "Damn it, Solano." I don't. It's not been my experience.
I'm Stephanie, actor and.
All right, where are we going, boys? What are we doing?
The title of this one is the End of Support Edition. If you're running Windows,
Where are we going?
particularly if you're running Windows 10, at some point this week you got the new blue screen of death, which was the screen that pops up when you turn on a computer. It says, "Yeah, you can upgrade to Windows 11, blah, blah, blah. Just click on this and get the free upgrade." And then if you click the decline upgrade, just like the monster at the end of the book, it goes, "Oh, wait, are you sure? Because, you got to do this. Yeah, you got to click on the thing. You got to get it." And now, if you're like me, all of your computers now have the permanent blue update icon in the corner. And every time that you turn on the computer, it's going to try to flip you over to Windows 11. So, yeah, end of support. Some parallels with the end of XP, but not really, because when they ended support for Windows XP, it was a very vulnerable platform. There were lots of exploits in XP,
like right here.
and even with the very, very, very last patch, it was
that
still
village yet?
not
That little
recommended
deserted
to be online
Adobe
with Windows
village
XP.
is right there.
Can the same thing be said for Windows 10? I don't think so. Are there any unknown exploits in Windows 10 that will be taken advantage of next year or 2 years from now for people who are still running Windows 10? If you're running an independent firewall and an independent malware blocker and browser protection and email protection,
make the game more
if
fun
you're
if you
running
get the
all that
horseshoes,
and
I
have
think.
a secure system, I would say no. But I'm just worried that they're going to make Windows 10 unusable because you can't shut off Microsoft Access unless you just take the system offline. So the number one thing is, well, why don't you just flip over to 11? It's better. It's so much better, friend. Just upgrade to 11. Oh, why are you running Windows? You're supposed to be running Linux. You're supposed to be running Unix. Why are you running a Microsoft product? Okay. So I already hear all the people yelling at me, but... Well, I have one Windows 11 computer that I bought with Windows 11 on it, and it's terrible. My big systems that I use for work, all the applications in there, I've got some applications that were intended to run on Windows 7, and I've got some running in there that were designed for Windows XP, which I'm still using on Windows 10. a lot of that, if not all of it, will not run on Windows 11. Not to mention that my printer and scanner will absolutely positively not run on 11 because hardware is never upgradable. Whenever they switch Windows platforms, they brick all the hardware. So I would have to throw out my perfectly good printer, my perfectly good scanner, and buy yet another printer. Like in the last 10 years, I've had to buy 3 printers, not because any of them broke, but because of the change in Windows platforms. Because every time they have to change over the platform in the system, the printers don't work on the new system, and I have to buy a brand new printer, even though the old one's not broken. It just won't run because they refuse to make a driver for it. So here we are again, the end of Windows 10, or the afterlife of Windows 10, because I have a feeling that most people running Windows 10, for all the reasons that I mentioned, not going to upgrade or can't upgrade, and others are going to be forced to upgrade. I just hope that we're not all forced to get on Windows 11, because it is a pig, it is a resource-eating monster, and as bad as Windows 10 is, Windows 11 is worse. And, of course, all the hardware bricking, and the interface is terrible. You might as well buy a Mac, you know? I mean, with Windows 11, it's basically an Apple computer. It's just so sad that they're so in love, Microsoft. They're so enamored with Apple that they've been doing everything they can over the last 20 years to make Microsoft products look and act like Apple products. Even the people working at Microsoft are in love with Apple. I wouldn't be surprised if we went to the Microsoft offices and they're all running Macs and they're all carrying around iPhones in their pockets. Wouldn't surprise me at all, based on the platforms that they produce. That's where I work. In the lab. You hit me! Go berserk. In my lab. That's where I work.
We're finally at that point where I am too old to understand certain trends. And the cracks started to show a few years back with the E meme. Took me a long time to really grasp the concept of E. And now it's morphed into 6-7. That's the new big one. So I brushed up on my studies to learn the etymology of 6-7 and understand it. I had heard about it, some whispers of it during streams where people would make a reference to it and giggle to themselves, and I asked what it was. People would explain it as like derivative of that SpongeBob episode with SpongeBob and Patrick in class and they're laughing about 25, that kind of thing. But as it got bigger and bigger, I started to learn through context clues that wasn't exactly it. So I looked it up, and it's apparently a kid at like a sporting game just said like 6-7 and then did this, and it caught fire recently. Anyway, they say the greatest fear is fear of the unknown, and now that I know 6-7, I don't have to be afraid any longer. Instead, now I can just properly cringe at it. I saw a pretty interesting clip today featuring beloved 6-7 references, and I wanted to share it with all of you because holy fuck, it is a painful watch. Fair warning, it's only coming through on the right channel of the audio.
Football is, you can definitely tell there is a new play caller in town. The offense is looking, the offense is looking a lot more versatile. They're getting their tight end in there with more reps. Still seem really characteristic with the running game, but definitely seeing a lot more passes from Malik Murphy to Trent Walker. And I think even though the game is tied, the offense has looked entirely different, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yikes. Yucky. Yeah, I couldn't do anything to mix the audio together so you could hear it in both channels. I believe that this was just such a miserable thing that videos weren't even meant to capture, that it actually fucking cringed the technology itself and did everything it could in like a self-defense mechanism to try and like spare at least one eardrum here from having to hear this maniac screaming 6-7 at the top of his lungs. So it's pretty clear the group is inebriated. And there's definitely worse, more destructive, more annoying things that drunk people have done on camera. So on the totem pole of degeneracy, this is kind of low. But I gotta tell you, sports fans, there is something particularly embarrassing, something special about the Goob Squad rolling up here with Even Stevens shouting 6-7 at the top of his lungs like it's his war cry, like the last thing he's going to be able to get out on the battlefield. It's just so embarrassing. It is so ass that it's able to elicit an actual fight or flight response just watching this video. Like, again, I only just recently learned the origins of this in the first place, and now seeing it in the state it is here, with adults spamming it like Fortnite emotes in the background of a camera, it just really makes you think. You had the guy looking right down the pipe, straight down the barrel of the camera there, all of his friends getting in on the action, doing this kind of thing. It is an actual symphony of agony. Like, everything that could be awful about a clip is awful here. A reporter just trying to do her job, getting yelled at like 2 feet behind her, ear-piercing screeches from this guy whose voice keeps cracking under the desperate weight of his need to be the center of attention by saying popular popular meme. It's all a masterpiece of disaster.
The second half of this game.
Calm down.
No, relax. Stop. 22 years old, by the way.
This place is fantastic.
I bet you thought the clip was done, huh? I pulled the wool over your eyes. No, it actually went on for far longer, unfortunately. I don't know what the broadcast was. I don't know why it sits on this shot for so long, like why she is forced to stand there in the middle of this miasma of cringe. But my God, my heart breaks for her, because holy shit, every facet of this is awful. From the clear protagonist 6-7 guy who is so pleased with his joke he even starts recording it himself from his own POV, to his sidekick, his lackey friend who comes in to try and do his own thing with another meme screaming help and then doing this. No one seems to care about that, not even their friends are laughing at that one, so that's a fucking dud. That falls flat, then he gets full of shame, turns around and leaves. And then somehow one of their other friends is on the floor laughing, tickling his belly like he's going Gear 5 Luffy here. He's just over there laughing so hard, tickling himself because this is so hilarious. And then the one guy who stuck his face in the camera is starting to have a come-to-Jesus moment where he's like, okay, stop. This guy's 22 years old, by the way. Like, everything here is just
Isn't it really spiritual around
perfect
here?
from the perspective of agony, like misery on camera. It reminds me of that fucker right in the pussy thing from many moons ago, but at least that had the wherewithal to be short and not like drone on endlessly for so long, and it was self-contained. You didn't need like tidbits of lore from outside of it. Like, you didn't, it's not like a Marvel movie where you have to watch like 20 movies or 20 shows to know what's going on in the movie. 6-7, you hear that and you have no idea what it is until you look it up and like connect the dots, follow the breadcrumbs. At least fucker right in the pussy, you knew exactly what that was saying, what that was about, and it was like a flash of lightning, just super quick. One sentence, and then everyone parts ways. They give the mic back, at least in all the ones I saw, and that was that. This, on the other hand, goes on for over a minute. It is a slobber knocker. It overstays its welcome immediately and then stays planted there for another minute longer of just constant 6-7. It is brutal. Anyway, just wanted to share that. That's really about it. See ya.
I recently learned that positive geometry is a new approach to physics that could unify everything from cosmology to particle physics.
Love that food.
That reminded me of category theory, which was supposed to unify all of
me home,
physics 2
baby.
decades ago. And whatever happened to that? Today we'll have a quick look at both of them. Physics and mathematics have historically gone hand in hand. Sometimes mathematicians have taken their inspiration from physics, such as Hermann Weyl,
he must
who
think I'm a
invented
bitch.
gauge symmetries,
really
and sometimes the other way round, such as physicists who used Young-Mill's theories in the development of the Standard Model. In this case, it's not even clear what came first. Positive geometry, which has been around for about a decade, is a two-way relationship that was born by physicists but latched onto some already existing ideas in mathematics.
Carl, you know, I
And
kinda like doing
mathematicians
stuff like
have
this.
now
Keep
found an
talking.
interest in it. I asked ChatGPT what positive geometry is.
You trying
and
to
it said,
annoy me,
"A
Genius?"
positive geometry is a pair of a complex algebraic variety defined over the reals and a closed semi-algebraic region whose interior is an oriented D-manifold, which is as close to Chinese as I'll ever be able to pronounce. But when I looked into this a little closer, I realized it's not that complicated. We've actually talked about it before, because positive geometry is a generalization of the amplituhedra. These are the magical shapes of Nima Kani Hamed and his collaborators, which they say will one day replace space and time. It's the probably most ambitious research program in the
I'm not a
foundations
bitch,
of
Carl,
physics
but I don't
today,
have any
and it just got
Uh-huh,
even more
yeah.
ambitious. My dumb YouTuber version is that positive geometry is a sort of polygon in higher dimensions. It's called positive because it always has a smile on its face. Just checking if you're listening. It's called positive because it's defined by an inequality that says something is larger or equal to 0. And on that polygon,
I've
one
made
has
so
a way
much
to
money out of
assign
divorce.
values
Yeah,
to
go on.
sides and edges. This sounds terribly abstract, and it is, but it's basically a way to describe how things can change. This is what these polyhedra and their edges and values describe. What can a physical system do? And physics is ultimately all about change. Positive geometries, therefore, can describe how particles interact, but also how the universe itself changes shape, and maybe other things that we haven't yet figured out. This is why they might be able to unify quantum physics with gravity. In some recent publications now, researchers have worked out how to make contact between this positive geometry
Hey, how
and
about
the
some
more
coffee,
standard
sugar?
physics. They've done this by deriving differential equations and correlation
Cool.
functions, still abstract, but now at least words that most physicists should be familiar with. I give this a 1 out of 10 on the bullshit meter because it's both new and likely mathematically correct. It's not a 0 because they haven't made any predictions, and I'm not so sure about the relation of this idea to reality. I'm wary because we've seen highly abstract maths ideas in physics come and go before. One of those was category theory. Category theory, let me just read this from Wikipedia, is a general theory of mathematical structures and their relations. But all theories in physics are mathematical structures with their relations. So category theory can describe all of them. To give you a typical example, working with category theory looks something like this. It's diagrams that tell you how things are related to other things. There's little that isn't category theory. Your ancestry, market economies, chemistry, it's all things related to other things. It's like inventing a new language in which the only word is things. When I just finished my PhD, there was a blip of interest in category theory among physicists. Some books were written and conferences held, but that never went anywhere. It's still used in some of the more mathematically heavy research, and I don't deny its usefulness, but I don't think anyone today believes it'll revolutionize physics. The issue with category theory is that if you generalize mathematics enough, you eventually get a theory of anything, not a theory of everything. And I worry that positive geometry will turn out the same and just produce a highly mathematical construct of whatever without solving any problems. There is a bigger philosophical question behind ideas like this. which is how much pure mathematics can help physicists. Some people, for example, David Lindley in his book The End of Physics, have argued that indeed the stagnation in the foundations of physics is due to its over-reliance on mathematics to the detriment of experiment and understanding. I don't agree with that. I think of maths as a powerful tool, but like any tool, its use depends on how well you know how to handle it. And to paraphrase the common saying, if you have a positive geometry, everything looks like a polygon. How does that work? Why is that so? If those are questions you also like to ask, you should really have a look at Brilliant. It's a great way to practice your problem-solving skills and your critical thinking. All courses on Brilliant have interactive visualizations and come with follow-up questions. What you see here is from their newly updated maths courses. No matter how abstract the topic seems, Brilliant's courses have intuitive visualizations that really click into my brain. I found it to be a highly effective way to build up knowledge, and Brilliant covers a large variety of topics in science, computer science, and maths, from general scientific thinking to dedicated courses, just what I'm interested in. Sounds good? I hope it does. You can try Brilliant yourself for free, and if you use my link brilliant.org/Sabine or scan the QR code, you'll get 20% off the annual premium subscription. So go and give it a try. I'm sure you won't regret it. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Hey, buddy, I'm Coach Frames, and I'm here to tell you why skateboard sucks ass. Here, you're gonna learn the basics. You're gonna understand why skate sucks. And if you don't, I'm gonna break your board. Coach Frames, this here game represents everything wrong with the gaming industry.
God dang it, that does not look that steep. It just doesn't look that steep to me.
Its heart and soul with a hollow, disingenuous experience. Yeah. This game only exists because EA saw the monetary potential in shoving a cosmetic, free-to-play business model into a beloved skateboarding IP. Heck, they even replaced me, Coach Frames, with some generative AI. This right here is why skateboard sucks ass.
Before I get into it, I already know I'm going to be getting comments like, but it's in early access, or what, complaining, the game's free to play. Like that invalidates any criticism I have against this game. So, let me nip that in the bud real quick. Skateboard is not early access. It's just the rules, man. To hide the fact that this game is unfinished and underbaked. If a game is selling $150 premium currency packs, if it's releasing a season pass and it's fully monetized, then I'm going to treat this game as if it's fully released. Second, is that free-to-play or not, this game has problems, and one of those problems is the free-to-play business model itself, which we'll get to. Now, I get it. This video is going to rub some people the wrong way. There are a ton of people that like this game and are having fun playing it, which, hey, more power to you. If your skater eyes are climbing with my footy, well, leaving a comment would be out of privilege. I usually keep a pretty level head in my videos, but this time, it's personal. I've always been into skating. I grew up on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I was a
God damn it, dude. You guys. Okay, yeah, you just didn't avoid me, did you?
Skate videos. I have over 150 hours.
Slammed right into me, dude.
Talking a lot about how this game
Full speed, no brakes, nothing. Just slam. Dude, okay, this thing is tough.
All from the perspective of someone who both loves skateboarding and video games. So, given that context, you would think I would be the main demographic for a brand new skate game, right? I mean, EA only gave this game the green light because skate fans wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. It was birthed from the passion gamers had for the original trilogy.
It's amazing. We cannot believe you commented this into existence. Amazing.
Now, whether you value skate culture or not, I'm going to prove to you that Skate 4's deviations negatively impact the experience this game has to offer.
We all knew that when Skate 4 was announced.
Actually, this game doesn't identify with
But it's the fourth game in the series.
No, it's not Skate 4. Okay, throw the models and everything out now. No, it's not Skate 4.
When Skate Dot announced it would be free to play, we all saw the signs.
That's why the next game will be a free-to-play title available to gamers around the world.
We knew it was going to be a fucking disaster. But I decided to wait and reserve judgment until I had played it myself. Well, I got my hands on it. And it is way worse than I thought.
Which one are you? Okay, I'm terrific. I'm sure Izzy's been schooling you on how to use Gatorade. Get them online? It was so easy. Have you done this before? That was dope!
No matter what your opinion is on Skate Dot, and yes, I'm going to be calling you that for this whole video, so buckle up. I think we can all collectively agree with what I'm about to say. Fuck this. Artificially intelligent smiley face. How do we go?
You can't keep up with me, dude. Dude, you can't keep up with me like that, guys.
The skateboarding culture in this game is so manufactured, so fake.
Maybe you can.
They literally have an AI companion.
Dude, what are you doing? Okay, bad luck. We're having bad luck, dude. That's all. Yeah, bad luck. Having bad luck, dude. Bad luck. See, bad luck. Bad luck. Bad luck. Bad luck. It's bad luck. It's just bad luck, dude. Whoa. Just bad luck. Come on, dude.
That you would think this is a parody or a troll, but it's not.
4 stars. That's 4. There's 6 total.
Idea, recorded the lines and put it in the game. The lack of self-awareness is baffling.
How do you do, fellow kids?
They even try to use skate lingo and slang and fail spectacularly, going as far as to make up their own slang.
Vocab education refresher. Footy is short for footage.
Footy isn't a skate term. Where I live, it means this. If you live in the UK, it means this. I've never heard anyone call footage footy. I even Googled it just to make sure.
There it is. Your very own board. Your key to the city. The most
Don't patronize me, bitch. I can't stand this clean, fake happy, sunshine and rainbows, participation award vibe this AI and the whole game exudes. The infuriating dialogue isn't exclusive to Smiley over here. Every character is like this.
Think you can gap into the street? I do. Yeah, that clip is a banger. Did I mention you have a knack for this? You do. Spin it,
Everyone treats you like a goddamn baby, applauding you for shitting yourself. Woo, good job! They all talk to you in this super corporate, HSA, patronizing, everyone's a winner, encouraging tone, and I can't fucking stand it. God, I miss Coach Frank. Hey, I'm Coach Frames, and I'm the best YouTuber money can buy. You may have seen my channel talking about games. Why don't you subscribe so you can learn a couple things from this here old coach? While you're here, why don't you hit that like button and leave a comment? Available now. Get her done with 1-800-COACH-FRAMES. But the dialogue in this game is emblematic of a much larger systemic issue Skate Dot has. The game has a PG filter over everything. It infects this entire game and is the root of its identity crisis that pulls it into opposite directions. Skating is unfiltered chaos. It's gnarly slams, it's not fitting in, it's gritty, dirty, and dangerous. It's all the things that Skate Dot isn't. It tries to ignore the fact that skaters don't fit in broader society. It refuses to acknowledge the misunderstood stigma attached to skateboarding. It avoids the topic of skaters rebelling against corporations and the authority they employ. Instead presenting this super clean utopia, where the sun always shines, where everyone is nauseatingly nice, where everyone fits in, where a city is made just for skaters, where you can never get hurt, and where nothing bad ever happens. Everything has been pressed through this clean corporate PG filter. And it reminds me of something like The Truman Show, where nothing is real, like you're trapped in some sort of skate hell disguised as heaven.
Say something, goddammit. You're on television. You're live to the whole world.
Footy is short for footage.
This PG filter is what makes this game feel so disingenuous. This deviation from the previous games is the exact opposite of what skate culture and the older games represent. Perhaps the most obvious casualty of the PG filter is this game's art style. It looks like shit. I mean, what more can I really say here? Skate Dot throws away the old, gritty, more realistic art direction for something more cartoonish and saturated. I guarantee the main reason this art style was chosen was to, 1, appeal to a younger live service trained audience, and 2, because it allowed more flexibility with cosmetics that they could put in the game's shop. Realism just creates more restrictions with the skins they could sell you. But what if I were to tell you that this art style is actually a blessing in disguise? Because who the fuck is gonna buy this? I mean, honestly, look how shit this looks. This looks like something Mr. Slave would wear.
Right.
Skate Dot basically got the Fortnite treatment from a dodgy alleyway dumpster plastic surgeon in Thailand. If you're gonna copy Fortnite's art style, at least make it look good. I feel like the best way to understand the tonal contrast between Skate Dot and the older skate games is by looking no further than their live action intros. Here are some clips from the old Skate trilogy. Each skate game from the original trilogy has a real-life intro, which involved a shit ton of pro skaters that were huge at the time. If you weren't into skating, you had no idea who these guys were. But that was fine, because the intros were funny and entertaining prologues to the story of each game. But if you were into skating, these cameos felt like the sickest Easter eggs a game could ever have. The fact that these games managed to get all of these amazing skaters to do these intro videos showed the developers were into skating as much as we were and that they actually gave a shit. P-Rod was one of my favorite skaters at the time, so when he just popped up out of nowhere in the original Skate, I was fucking sold. These intros were
Fucking
amazing,
sold.
but it wasn't just the famous skaters, it was the vibe. They set a tone that would permeate throughout the entirety of each game.
sold.
And that tone was not giving a shit and being idiots with your friends. Two things that resonated with simple-minded teenage boy 8 brains. They were gritty, dangerous, and stupid in the best possible way. These intros encapsulated the essence of skating without showing any actual skateboarding. So, I want you to remember these. Remember the feeling they give you. Now here's the Skate Dot intro.
The skateboard is 7-ply maple, glued and pressed for durability. It is equipped with a T-shaped undercarriage, which allows for pivoting and turning. The combination of these elements create a vehicle of infinite possibility.
What is this? Where are the pro skaters? Where are the shenanigans? Where's the heart? Instead of a well-crafted 4-minute funny intro that set up the events of the game, we got a 30-second PG skateboarding commercial with no pro skaters in sight. Oh, and it turns out that the Dot in Skate is the fucking AI.
My name is B. I am an app.
Tonally, the difference between this and the previous intros is so stark that just showing you the difference is enough to get my point across. They did actually make a longer promotional video, which was posted on the Skate Dot YouTube channel, but it didn't even make it into the fucking game. Here's the kicker though, because they wanted to represent the gameplay of Skate Dot in this video, they had to mix in CGI skating with real skateboarding. They even had to put a do not attempt warning when the skater's like jumping off the skyscraper, which funnily enough I wanted to do while playing this game. I think it speaks volumes when the closest thing this game gets to understanding skate culture is in a behind the scenes video of a promotional video that didn't even end up in the game. So why am I talking about an intro so much? Like, goddamn, just talk about the actual game. Well, let me cook. Just like the older skate games, this intro sets the vibe of the whole game and represents a tonal persistence that is inescapable. It lacks character, it lacks grit, it lacks danger, style, authenticity, soul. Here's an example. Skating is dangerous. It can fuck you up if you fall off. So how does Skate Dot represent this core aspect of skateboarding?
If you're wondering why your slams don't hurt, you can thank a local startup called Impervatech for that. They cooked up a solution that allows shredders and stunters to huck with abandon. Don't ask how, it's science.
Yes, science!
That's right. Your slams no longer hurt you because of some mysterious tick that isn't explained at all. Ah, Impervatech.
What do you think?
You take away my physical pain, but you'll never take away my chronic depression. Skating shows a level of dedication and hard
Let
work
your
that
nose
most people will
radiate,
never
friend.
understand. You have to put your body on the line, overcome your fears, and be willing to fail time and time again. The fact that this game minimalizes bails and slams by saying, "Don't worry, nothing will ever hurt you in our theme park fun world,"
Feel that science working.
is so counterintuitive to skate culture. The one and only reason Impervatech exists in this game
Hi,
was to
Carl.
cover
Hi,
EA's
beautiful.
ass, to minimize the
Come on,
chance of
CJ,
getting
let's
a
go
higher
eat.
age
All right,
rating
for
and to
sure.
avoid lawsuits. EA doesn't want the game to be associated with the real-world implications of jumping off a fucking building, something the older games embraced. Hall of Meat originates from Thrasher magazine, showcasing the most brutal and painful slams in skateboarding. Skate used to have its own version of Hall of Meat where the goal was to hurt yourself as much as possible. You would earn points the harder you stacked it. Skate 3 expanded on this by adding a bone-breaking X-ray vision mechanic that added more
love it around
points
here,
the
Carl.
more bones you broke.
You better respect
This
me,
made
Carl,
so much
or you'll get
sense and is
stung.
the perfect
Oh,
example
why?
of tying gameplay mechanics into skateboarding culture. In Skate Dot, they removed the bone-breaking mechanic and replaced Hall of Meat with stunts because in Sandban, you can't get hurt, even if you want to.
Today's your lucky day.
Now, I've seen a lot of discussion online about how Skate Dot handles realism. I've seen people say that you can still skate realistically, that
I could
people
shoot you
forgot
and
how
no one would say a
unrealistic
thing.
Skate 3
This is
was,
really interesting.
and I've seen others say that this isn't Skate and that it's too unrealistic. So let me clear the air and clarify where the problem lies when it comes to realism and whatever the fuck this is. If you like a more grounded, realistic skate style, then yes, the mechanics of the game can facilitate that. You can still attempt realistic lines if you
My
want
husband
to.
called me a control freak.
However,
This is
this
so
game's
interesting.
realism or lack
Just gonna
thereof
listen.
isn't so much derived from the skateboarding mechanics as it is the obstacles it gives you to skate. Sandman City is not a city, it's a theme park. A caricature of a skatable city that's essentially just a manufactured playground to entertain the kiddies. The problem with Sandvan is that it's clearly designed with the sole purpose of skating.
I used to be
Now,
married to
that
a
might
real
sound
bastard.
obvious, right?
Keep
I mean,
talking.
it's a skateboarding game. Of course, the city is designed to be skated.
Drive
But
responsibly.
the game should be doing everything to make you think it's not. It should be trying to immerse you into thinking it's a real city. The map is way too clean. It has no irregularities in textures, barely any trash or rubbish lying around, no wax on ledges. It's something I noticed straight away and is a byproduct
Crime
of the
pickers have
game
shot
of
up
being
all over the
unfinished
state.
and because of the art style
Yeah.
it's going for, which doesn't demand as much attention to detail.
And why do I feel like I've seen this map before? The biggest issue I have with Skate Dot is its map and level design. This suspiciously shaped map has barely any variety or distinguishing features between zones. I hope you like the city zone because that's all you're getting in this game. Skate 3 had 3 very distinct districts:
I've eaten myself to
University,
bliss.
downtown, and industrial. They all look completely different from one another and had
I
their
had a
own
great time,
spots
but I
that
need to
made
get
them
home
more memorable. This map's Battle Royale Island
We get a
influence
shallow
means
break
that
Jaguar or
each
something
zone
doesn't
is
drive very
controlled
well.
by imaginary state lines, which breaks the flow between each spot.
Okay, so how
The
do I
old
get
skate
up
games did a
here?
great job of funneling you
This
towards
is a
specific
yeah.
areas
This is a
with
one-way
marginal
on a
hills,
highway.
pipes,
That's
and
a little
mountains.
tricky.
And this is the worst sin that Skate
Careful.
Dot commits.
There is no verticality in this map other than giant buildings. There are no hills to bomb at all,
Gosh
which is
dang it.
probably the reason why they don't
Mouse
have any
glitch.
races in the game yet. But I'm sure they'll add that
No
later.
on-ramp.
Super wide and empty
Is it
spaces,
right there? Is it
massive
right
colored
there?
mega ramps coming off buildings,
I have to
random
go
objects that
here.
make no
Yeah, I
sense.
gotta go
To me, this
off-road
is
a
a
little
poor
bit.
attempt at signposting and makes the city feel
It's right
disjointed and disconnected rather than it all being cohesive with a sense of flow between each
across.
skate spot. It's a constant reminder that you're playing a game, that you're
We
skating
had
a
a plane
world
crash
that was
over by the
built
big
for you.
ear.
This is
But
so
the push to make this
I'm
game
just
more
gonna miss it.
bombastic and unrealistic
Plane
only
crash by the big
exacerbates
ear,
and
huh?
highlights just how fake this city feels. The game's map and level design represents the direction this game wants to go, and that direction is away from realism. With its massive mega ramps and climbing up buildings. It's a clear shift to a more simple fun rather than technical
Never
skateboarding.
drive beyond your
Of
ability.
course, Skate 3 did have spots like the mega ramp.
Nah,
and
it's
the
tough
observatory,
taking her to the
but
diner.
these
I gotta
weren't
figure out how to
central
do
focus
that.
of Skate. They were more like
They just take a little bit of
in-game
time.
rewards that the game slowly built up.
Drive
to.
all the way around.
These spots were also more memorable because they were special. The game wasn't
Figure out the
throwing them
road.
at you every fucking 5 seconds.
The first thing you do in Skate 3 is get on your board and push.
What's up,
The first
peeps?
thing you do in Skate Dot is get on your board and drop into a mega
We don't
ramp.
get much
The
drug-related
focus
crime
on
out
more
here in the
simple
desert.
fun is obviously to retain the short attention spans of the demographic this game's trying to reach. Because retention is the aim of the
You
game
wanna
when
come
it
in for
comes to
some
live
coffee?
services. The thing that's carrying this game isn't the skating mechanics or the technical
let's have us some
skateboarding. It's the over-the-top challenges that involve mega ramps and transitions between building to building, because that's the audience they've decided to target. I'm not saying these things aren't fun, but it's fairly one-note, and I wonder how sustainable this live service is if that's all the game has to offer. I mean, how many times can going
That's
down
all.
a big ramp the right way be entertaining? And if
At
the
least
source of
they
skate
should all
fun
be
comes
like-
from giant ramps and not
Yep.
the act of skateboarding,
All filled up.
is it really
with
still a
paint spray.
skate
Here we
game at
go.
that point? Because you could replace the skateboard with any vehicle or something with 4 wheels and essentially get the same effect. To me, this looks like a custom track mania map that you'd find at the bottom of a TikTok video to satisfy short attention spans. Hey, eyes up here, buddy. I actually think that we'll start to see this game in shorts, reels, and TikToks next to Subway Surfers and GTA 5. There's a reason why these challenge videos get so many views. I actually thought of the perfect analogy for this. The progression of the Skate series is like the Fast and Furious movies. The first few movies are all about underground racing culture and cars, but with each new movie it kept drifting further and further away from its initial identity, until the movies were no longer about racing, it was more about saving the fucking world. It went from racing in the streets to racing between skyscrapers. Does this sound familiar?
Cars don't fly!
Congratulations! You successfully graduated.
Skate went from like Tokyo Drift all the way up to 10 in one game. Oh god, and don't even get me started on the Impervitowers. Great name, by the way. It sounds like a company that you'd see on the hub. Massive yellow asset dumps that force you to use the janky parkour mechanics. I mean, come on, look at this. This looks like something that's been ripped straight out of Sonic Frontiers. Random shit floating everywhere that defies the laws of physics. This is literally an asset dump. So yes, you can play this game realistically, but the game will try to fight you on it on every front, because that's not who the game is trying to appeal to.
Honestly, the game gives no incentive for existing fans to stick around. Why would I put up with a subpar experience when the older skate games are able to practically do everything this game can without all the pitfalls?
Enjoy a doodle
The skateboarding mechanics in Skate Dot are by far the best thing about this game. But that's not really saying much, considering it's an 18-year-old formula that's barely shown any evolution within this new entry. Aside from a few new, smoother animations and niche tricks, the skateboarding feels largely the same. The thing they changed the most, other than ramming it with microtransactions, isn't even related to skating. It's the parkour and movement off your board that's changed the most.
Damn crackheads.
The main issue I have is that not much focus went into evolving the flicker system or its surrounding mechanics. On a spectrum of pure gameplay mechanics, you have the more arcadey style of the Tony Hawk games on one end, and on the other you have the more realistic style that the skate sims like Session and Skater XL offer. The skate games are kind of a middle ground between the two, but when the original skate game came out, well, it broke new ground and was the closest thing we had to realistic skateboarding. All thanks to the flicker system that simulated the motions used in real skating. That's what I found so appealing about this skate series in the first place. Almost anyone could pick up a controller and do something cool, but skating with intention took practice. I wish they continued to push more this way like the old games did, but they went in the complete opposite direction instead. Playing Skate Dot made me realize that the skate formula is great, but it's just not for me anymore. In the 15-year gap between this game and Skate 3, the mechanics haven't changed, but I have, and games like Session have managed to evolve the flicker system. Session is my gold standard for skateboarding mechanics, all because of one reason: control. Look, I love the old skate games, but I don't think I could go back and play them after playing Session. First of all, the customizable settings in Session blows Skate.dot out of the water. The amount of settings this game gives you lets you adjust to your preferred skate style, whether you want extreme realism or something less demanding and more chill. These settings can drastically change the experience and can appeal to more casual skating as well as more hardcore realistic skating. I know that Skate.dot does introduce some settings that can make the experience more realistic, but the two games are night and day. So what do I mean by control exactly? I'll give you some examples. The flick system in Session lets you control the angle your board will spin. If you flick a kickflip diagonally up, the board will dip forward. If you flip straight to the side, then it flattens out, and if you flick it diagonally down, then the board will rock.
I didn't tell you this, right?
Where Skate.dot has one set kickflip animation, Session gives you the freedom to change the look of every trick you do. You're able to micro-adjust the directions of your ollies by holding more to the left or more to the right, setting you up for grinds. You can turn on manual catch, which means that you have to flick down at the right time to catch your board after performing a trick. This is really only scratching the surface, but having this much control over your board increases this game's skill ceiling exponentially.
Whoa! Little
Session
chubby,
because it's
CJ. My
so
bad,
hard,
bro.
but so is skating in real
My
life.
bad, bro.
Getting
Dang
better
it.
and better at this game is so satisfying and rewarding.
So he's still
And that's why
getting
I think
fat with
Skate.dot
salad.
just won't last as a live
Looks
service. I put over 150 hours into Session and still haven't gotten
I have
bored
been
of it.
running enough.
Because the fun in
Some
Session
exercise.
comes from the challenge of the skating mechanics itself. Whereas Skate.dot derives its fun not from the skateboarding mechanics, but from the obstacles being skated. In Session, any obstacle can be entertaining, from a simple box to a 10-stair handrail. The satisfaction of landing, say, a kickflip backside tailslide is infinitely more rewarding in Session than it is in Skate.dot. And this is what I think Skate.dot is lacking, and why for me, it's one of those games you pick up, play, and instantly forget about once you put it down. So, all of these issues with the game, the art style, the AI coach, impervity, the city and level design, the PG filter, the lack of skate culture, the barely changed skate mechanics, all culminates into a bastardized version of skate. And it all stems from one core reason underpinning the Skate.dot design philosophy: money. The art style was chosen to appeal to a wider, younger, monetizable audience. The AI coach is an attempt to be trendy and likely a way to cut costs on paying for someone like Jason Lee. Impervitech is to help adhere to an age rating. The clear shift to this more bombastic, arcadey style of skating is to make the game go more viral. The city, level design, and challenges are unfinished and lacking in variety because it's early access and they can fix it later. The PG filter is the opposite of skate culture, but they still try to capitalize on the nostalgia of the old games.
Come
All
on,
of
guys.
this
How
is
fast
in
you
service
going?
of the store, and is the
Fucking
cost of
dump
building
truck
the
going
game
as fast as me. Come on, guys.
I don't really need to go into detail here. I mean, you've seen this store a million times in a million different games. It has all the hallmarks of a free-to-play game that you would expect. Now, I should be clear, I don't hate live services, and the model can work if it supports the vision of the game. This is not one of those cases, however. The live service model just doesn't mix with a skate game, or at least the way that it's been executed in this one. It dictates the variety of challenges, interferes with progression and rewards. It's used as a convenient excuse for having an underbaked city, missing features, tricks, and game modes. There's no skate. There's no skate in a skate game. No Hall of Meat. No story mode. No races. Don't even get me started on the always online requirements. Getting footage for this game is a fucking nightmare. Every time I wanted to play, I would get disconnected, and every time it made it harder and harder for me to get the motivation to attempt to log back into this game and get more footage.
Footy is short for footage.
I'll fucking kill you. And look, if you don't really care about everything surrounding this game, if you can look past all of this stuff and just enjoy the skating mechanics, then that's great, but I can't. If Skate.dot is anything, It's a case study of how gaming has changed in the last 15 years. Skate 3 and Skate 4
Oh man, I
are
am
completely
chubby.
different
Oh
experiences.
my god.
Games
Sorry,
act
CJ.
as timestamps
How
and
did I
reflect
get
what
fat
gaming was
again,
like
dude?
during that period of time when they released.
Okay.
While changes in the industry are slow and hard to notice as they happen, when we
Yeah.
look at the contrast between the skates of the past and the skate we get today, the difference couldn't be more stark. And it really illustrates the sad AAA reality that we live in today. I would far rather just preserve the legacy that Skate left behind than for it to be resurrected as this soulless corpse of a game. There is so much wrong with Skate Dot, but I really had to just cut it for the sake of time. All you need to know is this. Skate Dot isn't a skate game. It's just a game with skateboarding in it. You like my outfit? I got these shorts from the kids section at Target. I had to wear them backwards though, because they got this like girly pattern on them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's see what we got here. Unemployment and comics. Sorry, it says, Dear Perchington, since you still seem to be taking questions, yeah, I mean, why not? I'm currently without a budget due to federal shutdown. Well, you know, I'll read the rest of this mail. I can go on. The federal shutdown is such a bunch of bullshit, and I mean that's everybody, that's everybody's take. And then I think whose bullshit are you more frustrated with, or Republicans or Democrats? Depends on who you are. The part about the federal shutdown and all this stuff that just irked me is that I would just love to see a Democrat, somebody who votes Democrat, somebody who voted for Kamala Harris. I would love for somebody who does that to actually say, you know what, my party's stupid here. Or somebody who voted for Trump go, you know what, my party is being an asshole here. I want, it's so predictable. People are like, I think the Republicans are screwing the country. Oh yeah, who did you vote for? Oh, you voted for Kamala Harris. Okay, all right, so you thought this already. Or, you know, the liberals are just, I mean, like, I don't know. I read the issues very carefully, and Chuck Schumer is a dickhead. It's like, all right, oh, you voted for Trump. Okay, yeah. So it's like, I'm not seeing any movement. I'm not seeing people like go, yeah, you know, those voices, I'm sure those voices exist. You just don't hear from them. And I wish you did, because it just gets tiring. Anyway, all right, that's too much on that. It says, hopefully this thing blows over and I can get back pay and my life returns to normal. I hope so too, brother. I can float for a few months, so I'm okay for the time being. That's good. Nonetheless, I've mostly stopped buying new comics until I have a secure paycheck again. Yep, that's prudent. Makes sense. And if you get divorced, don't promise all your comics. That was there was a video, if you remember it, from a while ago, whenever this video came out. It comes out. I'm not even sure that video is out yet. I don't know. Anyway, there was a viewer question about kind of what should we do with the comics of the divorce and how can we carve them up and everything. And I just remember reading that and responding with a lot of pauses, because in my head I'm like, I'm trying to actually come up with a good, you know, response to you and not you dumbass. But that was what was in my mind. Anyway, all right. Back to the mail. It says if I were going to do a very limited budget and only do, say, 3 new comics per month, what should I be getting? There's no right answer. I'm just curious what you and the viewers think are your current 3 books and nothing else pulls. Thanks. P.S. Just turn the channel over to your daughter
Hello,
instead
CJ,
of ending it all
what's up?
together. That
Hey,
kid has
sexy
potential,
lady.
man.
I'm
She's
starving,
a
Carl.
clown.
I gotta eat.
And I mean that in the nice way. She is a performer. They both are in their own ways. The older one is clearly gonna be a software programming genius and artist. And the younger one is clearly going to be a performer. It's the
No
comedic
problem,
timing
that's
is
what you
just
want.
there. By the way, I was doing this bit where in the videos I would I had a bunch of little clips from our conversations. This would be my younger daughter, and I was putting at the end of videos. And what was fascinating to me is it kind of taught me how many people actually listened to the end of the video, which was not many. So there for about 1 week, there's a whole bit there, and I like to think I'm biased, of course.
It's the quality of the
my
rubber that
prodigy,
makes a good nap.
I thought it was hilarious. I mean, just freaking hilarious stuff. And several of you don't listen to the end of the video, so you missed it altogether. It's you missed out, man. Anyway, so what 3 books? Okay, so first off, this is a question for you, the audience. So throw in the comments below. 3 books. You're buying 3 books a month. You know, roughly $15 a comics.
I want to set
a
up
month.
my own dungeon.
What are those 3 books for you? Let us know in the comments below. What are your top 3 books? For me, and I'm putting aside the fact that I've got an unbroken run of X-Men and other things, other than the publisher keeps breaking it by relaunching like a bunch of dicks. But the comics I would put today right now are, and I understand they're not coming out every month and there's gaps. I would put Hyde Street. I really like that title. I think it's
Where's your manners?
very, very strong.
Lock the keys to my thigh brace
I probably am
once.
putting Geiger. So those are 2 Ghost Machine titles, but I feel like you get a lot for your money. Meaning, you're limited in comics. For me, it's not necessarily a single character, a single comic. It's the joy of reading a comic, and a comic with a lot of pages, a lot of depth is pretty exciting to me. And so I like reading. I like reading things that feel. I don't love this word in this context, but look, they feel meaty. Feel like, I'm not just flipping through something in 30 seconds. I feel like I'm actually getting a significant comic out of it. So that's what I think. Those 2, and it's wild. This is an indicator of what a good writer can do. I'm probably buying Conan. And I am not a Conan fan historically. I just haven't been. But I do think, and I mean it with all genuine
cheap drink.
People have accused me of like when I interview somebody, and I just suck up to them. It's like this is YouTube culture for you. It's like I'm polite to people who are guests. I was polite to Ron Mars.
You want to come in for a coffee?
When I interviewed him, and I got all these people like, that guy's a libtard. Why are you being nice to him? It's like, he was nice enough to give me his time, so I'm going to be polite. He is a guest. You need to be nice to your guest. Anyway, that's how it should be. But Jim Zub over on Conan, those are good comics. Those are damn good comics. And I'm not a Conan fan. I have never historically been a big Conan fan, but those comics are very enjoyable to read. I feel like you get a lot out of them. And if I'm down to just 3 comics, I'm going to try and pick something that is giving me a little bit of everything. So Geiger's kind of post-apocalyptic, somewhat superhero drama. They say horror, but I don't get the horror in Geiger. And then Hyde Street is horror, but a really, really well written, almost written like an anthology type book, even though it's not an anthology. And then Conan, which is the your sword and sorcery, and but all 3 books make up pretty powerful reading month in and month out. And I think I'm also kind of answering your question from the perspective of, I'm it's sight unseen. Each book has got a count. Those books have proven to me that they are actually. When I pick it up, I'm going to get value out of it. I'm going to enjoy the experience. And so I think those are the 3 for me. It's been a while since there hasn't been a Marvel or DC comic in that list, but that's where I'm at. There are good Marvel and DC comics, make no mistake about it. But there is a lot of kind of shuffling your creative team, random left turns of direction, everything else that would hamper that. I am liking, I still like Ultimate Spider-Man, even though, good Christ, it is very talky and very little things seem to happen in it. I like, I like the zany insanity of absolute Batman. But for my money, if I'm only down to 3 books, it's Geiger, it's Hyde Street, and it is Conan.
Hey, pretty boy, watch!
Conan by Titan Press, and the other 2 by Ghost Machine. Again, there's lots of good comics, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what people write in the comments, because I'm willing to bet that nobody will have the same 3 books. That there will be a lot of variety, and there should be. It's kind of what appeals to you. I made the comment earlier, I want to pick up a book where I feel like I'm getting something substantive out of it, where it feels like there's a, legitimately big story in there, where it feels like there's meat. And so, you know, everybody's definition of what that means is a little different. And so I think that's why, you know, as you're kind of thinking about this for yourself and you're putting in your comments below, you know, of course, keep in mind that the 3 comics that are going to ring that bell for you are definitely going to be unique and personal and not the same for others. But I like the experiment. I like the exercise. So those are my 3. What are your 3? Do me a favor, go down to the comments. Let's help this guy out. I do hope the government shutdown ends soon. You get back to getting a regular paycheck like you deserve. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what everybody says. 3 comics. You're down to 3 comics. What are those 3 comics? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, dude, what's with the air? Breath.
I swear to God, I'm throwing all this shit right in the garbage.
It's my hobby, Janice. Why you gotta belittle it?
Will you just get ready, please?
You go. I gotta work.
You can do your collections tomorrow.
I'm on a schedule. It don't work that way.
This is why you can't watch Uncle Joe?
I told you last week we have Nika's preschool meeting.
He's 15 months old.
No one was more competitive than your wife when it came to this stuff with AJ.
A lot of good it did.
This child, constantly wanting the breast.
He doesn't want to be alone. He says he doesn't feel good.
The school, they need to meet both parents if it's an intact family.
All right, so call the girl, the nurse.
Miss Trinidad? Right. Every time I call, a different person answers.
I'll go, Tom. I'm on it.
You know what? Fuck it. You want to get something done, you got to do it yourself.
You were the one who was opposed to assisted living.
You and I are going to talk.
Well, you didn't have to wear your fucking hat.
Suppose you got a little choo-choo train at home, huh? Takes your toast right from the kitchen, delivers it to your bedroom.
Look, Tom, I'm sorry about what happened with Junior in the shooting, but...
Don't mention Junior to me ever again. I'll tell you this, Bobby. You can't hide behind this brother-in-law shit forever. You're an okay guy, but each and every man is judged on his own merit.
He works so hard for you, and what does he get? Merciless ridicule about his weight, about his model railroading.
He's a grown man!
Oh, but it's okay for Neil Young.
He owns Lionel!
I'm sorry.
Hey, I found the Woodland Mountain. 27-inch peak, clump foliage, and snow. Bobby.
I'm listening, okay?
Where are you going?
Rafe's brother's making a music video. They got dry ice.
Where's your helmet? Hey, check out the Mo and Joe action. Hey, you know what? Let's do a race. The Polar Express one. We could trash it.
I can't.
Who knows what the fuck he's got planned exactly? You get word to everybody. Eyes in the back of your head. Break routines, collections, all that shit. You tell everybody. Got it. In the meantime, we keep trying. Get a 20 on Phil.
Beautiful. You never see a blue Comet in that condition. I mean, look at the coaches. Every window still lights up.
If that train still ran New York to AC, Atlantic City would be a much different place today.
Better class of people.
I suppose. Who the fuck really knows? Still, it's nice to think that. Imagine riding in that club car, sipping on a Negroni. $8 grand the whole set, huh?
Well, there's other people interested.
I'm gonna go for it.
Your son will like this too. Looks fast.
He don't care.
Are you sitting down? Southwest is introducing assigned seating!
Assigned seating! Now we can choose our seats before we get on the plane. I had a dream about this!
Doesn't every airline do assigned seating?
They do now.
In this world today, we have the two forces that we have to choose from, and it is that we can choose one direction or another direction. And in those settings, of course, we have then the people that are going to be supporting the things that are good, and some people are going to be supporting the things that are bad. And so we have that choice. And when we make our choices, we continue to grow in that direction. The netto jag sjone hålla. Skida hast skida att edolle, att standa att edolle. Skida jag dikat. Ni kan odlo. Jos edegenan kan dolle. Ediki skida jag dikat. Otetast anako sibe. Ni kan sahuid net olle. In the traditional teaching of our people, we're told that we must always be aware of people that will lie to us and will tell us all kinds of things that are not right. And they will cheat us and take things from us. And they will misinform us and they will take from us. And in some of them, it will even take our life or the life of our loved ones. And all of these things and the teachings of Art Dene come from the being that is Doyash Honi, or sometimes they would say Ayasibatano, where it is the main source is from Black Ye Shin. And it begins not in this life, but in the previous existence in the turquoise world or in the blue world, the second world. That is the time when there was a disagreement among the holy people. And it was that one of them became so aggressive and caused so much contention that he set fire to that world. The actual fire was to actually break up the whole idea of coming into this life to continue to grow in greater awareness. It has something to do with the idea of continually growing. And the Black Ye must have had some disagreement about the way we would continue to grow. And it all comes down to the idea of controlling. And so in this world today, we have the two forces that we have to choose from. And it is that we can choose one direction or another direction. And in those settings, of course, we have then the people that are going to be supporting the things that are good, and some people are going to be supporting the things that are bad. And so we have that choice. And when we make our choices, we continue to grow in that direction. And so in the traditional teachings of our people, we have a nosefke, which is to say the continual growth direction. And so we have symbols. And the first symbol that we have is, of course, the the way that our hair grows on the top of our head. Sometimes people are confused about saying, what if I have two circles on my head? That's not significant to a lot of the neck. That has nothing to do with it, but it is that the existence of the spiral is there. And it is said to be in the continual growth direction on those safety. And it is that these markings are also found on the fingertips and the tips of the toes, is to remind us that we must continually grow. And also in the where we are placed as the neck, the way the sun, when it enters our hogan in the morning, it goes shampikeh. Sha is the sunlight, the keh is that path or that circle that it makes in a continual growth direction. And it is the clockwise spiral. It's the way that the ceremonial baskets are woven. It's the way that we enter our hogan. When we come through the doorway, we go to our left. And so it is that everything that we do in ceremonial setting is to always remind us that we are to continually grow in greater awareness of things that are good and things that are bad. And so we have to be aware of the bad people, or the people that will lie to us and misdirect us and even take from us the things that we have to have in our lives. And there are many things we have to have in our lives. We have to be able to provide for ourselves. We have to be able to speak to one another without people being offended. And it is that we don't go out of our way to make life uncomfortable for other people. We are to be a people of peace. And it is that the continual growth direction. It says that it is up to us. It is our responsibility to be able to grow in greater awareness of good, and also to understand that there are things that are going to distract us that are not good. And there are people that are either good or people that are bad. And it is not easy to be able to distinguish what is good and what is bad. It is that the only way that we would ever really have the opportunity to know is if we are a people that are going to think, are going to plan, and are going to understand that there's a purpose to life. A purpose to life is to continually grow in greater awareness, and then finally to be able to have some hope or faith in the things that we are not able to see out there so plainly. But it is that we're told, and that means it is up to you to be able to know. And the way you know is by asking the holy people. And the only way that you can ask the holy people is in your prayers. And when you receive the information from the holy people, it's not going to be something that just all of a sudden just falls on you.
So we
Sometimes
can't
you have
play
to wait,
golf,
you have
not
to
yet.
watch, you have to observe. And so you have to listen, you have to see. And in some cases you have to touch or taste or smell to understand, this is right and this is not right. There are things that we are told in the world today that are not good for us, but yet we are told it is good, and we follow along. And that's the other thing that's part of the teaching. That means don't just follow the herd. Don't just follow along. That means they will lead you over the cliff. And it is not a good thing to do. It's just to follow along. You have to determine for yourself what is good and what is not good. And so there are bad people in the world. Bad people can be a bad man, or bad people can be a woman. And it is not limited to either one, being greater in bad things and evil things and that. And that's the other part of the teaching is there is evil. There are things that are being done out there that are just absolutely evil. The taking of life, and the taking of minds, the taking of hearts, the taking away of planning, the taking away of thinking, and the taking away of faith and hope. And these are the things that people are losing in many ways, and we don't even know that that is taking place. And so when something like that happens, of course, pretty soon it becomes a normal thing. It's accepted, it's tolerated, and then, of course, it becomes a part of the way we live our lives. And is when you make your life, you have to be very careful on the ingredients you use by associating with the people that have good ideas, and they know how to have joy, how to have happiness, and how to have confidence without being arrogant, and to be able to know what real peace is. Having peace in your life is very important, of course, and having the idea that there is a life hereafter, and that you are responsible. And a lot of times bad people, really bad people, have no consideration at all of the idea that they are going to be responsible in the life hereafter. So they don't believe
Guys,
that there is a life
fucking what are you
hereafter.
doing? Warp 9, motherfucker?
Set up ways to
The
instruct
fuck,
people
bro?
and discourage people.
Where the fuck you coming from, dude?
Be able to say that there is an afterlife, and we are going to be held
Yeah,
accountable for
teleporting
all the things that we
motherfucker?
do. And the idea
Jesus
is that there are
Christ,
so
dude.
many
No,
things
I'm
that we
just,
do in
come
this
on,
life, and we
dude.
don't realize that we are supporting the things that are not good. So we might get leadership into positions where they lead us in the wrong direction. And yet there are people that are saying, well, he's not good, or they are not good, and all that. How do we know? How do we come to believe otherwise? Is that we always consult with the holy people. And when we receive the information, we receive it in the heart, or in the mind, in the spirit. And that is one thing that we have always been told, is that the good will always be within your ability to comprehend easily. And the evil things are the things that will take
Jesus.
a while to be absorbed, as it is continually given to us, one piece at a time, just a little bit here, a little bit there, and pretty soon it's like some of the things that we talk about probably, that little by little, if you put somebody in there, a frog or something, in a pot of water, that when you turn up the heat, it's comfortable until it is eventually boiling, and it is something that destroys. And so it is with the evil things and the things that we accept thinking that they are good, and in reality, they are not. And so the teachings of our people is that Doya Shumi, in that that means there are evil things in the world. Do all that you can to avoid the things that are going to influence you to do the things that are not right, the things that are not good, the things that are going to take you away from the beauty way path of having joy and happiness, confidence, and peace. And to always understand that to maintain that journey is to do it with prayer. It means that to be a person, a decent person, you have to have prayer. And the other thing that can kind of be mentioned is that among Native people, there are a lot of stories in that are being told. And in fact, we have organizations that are concerned about the missing women and the missing children. It is that we are not allowed to know all that is going on. We have no idea. All we do is we hear. And these are evil things. But also you have to be aware that evil is real, and it does exist in the world. And there are a lot of people that conceal it. And in their circles and that, they accept it as a way of life. But to us as the Neh, or any kind of native people, when we lose these women and children, what is that we are supposed to do? What is it that we need to know? Is that it makes life complicated for a lot of people to see someone that they love gone and never see them again. But these are evil things that happen. These are bad things that happen. They just don't just disappear. There are some people that are bad enough and evil enough to take those people from us. And it is necessary for us to be educating ourselves to the idea that there are people in the world that will take from us everything that we care about. And they'll do it in a way where we don't know why, we don't know where, we don't know who. And in the end, it is very much our responsibility to just be aware and to be cautious and to be able to teach our children the right ways so that they don't put themselves in a position to be taken or to be harmed in any way in their mind and in their spirit, in their physical body, and in their thinking. And there are ways to learn to be a decent person. Some people don't want to learn to be a decent person, and it's something that we can't control. The only thing that we can do is ourselves, and it is our thinking, and it is how we do things, and how we choose to conduct ourselves as a being, as a child of the holy people. And so the things that we are told are things that take a lifetime, and it is that we must continually grow in the right direction. A nostalgia is always just a symbol, but it is to remind us that we must grow in greater awareness in the things that are good and the things that are not good. And those are the things that we are told.
You're lucky my man isn't here coming home.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Yeah.
Prevent his capture alive or by the enemy. Because this was his end, and the Parthians, as some say, poured molten gold into his mouth in mockery. But Crassus was just one of the over 20,000 Romans killed at Carrhae, and another 10,000 were captured. In the cold calculus of war, these men could be replaced, but a stain on Roman honor remained with the capture of the sacred legionary eagles, which were of enormous importance in Roman civic religion and political ideology. These would not be returned until the reign of Augustus, and were welcomed back to the city with much fanfare. The fate of Crassus reads like a cautionary tale on the dangers of hubris, so much so that scholars believe many of the negative omens he is said to have received were inserted into the tale at later dates to make his adventure look even more ill-informed. Already a successful politician who enjoyed widespread popular backing, Crassus decided that he wanted the one thing his wealth could not buy: a triumph, one earned through the glory of a military conquest that would rival the achievements of Caesar. He lay as an example to ordinary minds of the caprice of fortune, but to the wise of inconsiderateness and ambition, who, not content to be superior to so many millions of men, being inferior to two, esteemed himself as the lowest of all. Crassus had not fallen in defense of Rome, but in a war concocted entirely by his own fatal ambition. We think too narrowly, however, when we place this blame entirely on his shoulders. Had he not led troops into Parthia unprovoked, another Roman, hungry for war, certainly would. Indeed, many would in the future, though they now have the pretext of avenging Crassus to provide a flimsy justification. His death, though, should not be as he was carrying out a war of choice, not one of necessity. These are the conflicts that are often the most fatal to imperial hegemony.
Come on, dude. Try to avoid me a little bit.
Defense, but wars with no goal in mind other than greed. If we want to shed tears, they must be reserved for those whose lives were uprooted by the march of the legions, and either pressed into service in Crassus's army, or in the defense force mobilized by the Parthians. One of the many women made into widows by the Greek war was Cornelia Metella, the wife of Publius Crassus. As a member of the prominent Cornelia gens, it was not a question of if she would marry again, but when. She was simply too valuable, and her father too influential as one of the leading voices in the anti-Caesar faction, for her to remain a widow. when she did remarry in 52, it sent shockwaves through Rome. Her second husband would be none other than Pompey, a move that marked his growing distance from Caesar and his willingness to align with the narrow clique of elite aristocrats whose stranglehold on the state he had once challenged alongside Crassus and Caesar. The Roman defeat at Carrhae may not have initially looked like much more than an embarrassing debacle that Rome could contain to the immediate region. Certainly, none would have predicted that it would fatally disrupt the Republic itself. But in removing Crassus from the equation, and thus destabilizing the triumvirate, the tenuous balance between Pompey and Caesar collapsed, paving the way for the Republic's final civil war, and the birth of the empire.
Low.
Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus had seen it all. Over his decades of distinguished service to the Roman Republic, the politician and general had led armies across the known world. He triumphed 3 times, an honor earned through leading victorious campaigns from Spain in the west to Syria in the east, while also making time to purge the entire Mediterranean of pirates. As the foremost commander of his day, he had traversed the entire Roman world, making Rome's first contact with new peoples and bringing vast swaths of territory under Roman dominion. An adventurer as much as a general, Pompey would even enter the Holy of Holies in the Jerusalem temple, over the strenuous objections of the Jewish priests. The first Roman to subdue the Jews and set foot in their temple by right of conquest was Gnaeus Pompey. Thereafter, it was a matter of common knowledge that there were no representations of the gods within, but that the place was empty, and the secret shrine contained nothing. But over the course of his career, there was one thing that Pompey never knew: defeat. In his previous campaigns, the closest Pompey had come to defeat was against the Marian guerrilla leader Sertorius at the Battle of Lauron. But this was really only a limited setback, and in the decades since, he had swept aside all before him, even overcoming capable commanders such as Mithridates. But the most impressive victory of his career thus far was his win over Caesar at the Battle of Dyrrhachium in 58 BCE. This battle between one-time friends and allies could very well have ended the Roman Civil War. But Pompey had been taken aback by Caesar's sudden flight from the field, and declined to pursue, fearing a ruse. In reality, he had broken Caesar's army, and could have won the war had he acted with resolve. Pompey made a brilliant fight, and at last routed Caesar's whole force and killed 2,000 of them. He did not, however, force his way into their camp with the fugitives, either because he could not, or because he feared to do so, and this led Caesar to say to his friends, "Today, victory would have been with the enemy, if they had had a victor in command." Pompey's track record as a general, combined with his now substantially superior forces, thus made him supremely confident that his next encounter with Caesar would allow him to end the war for good. In the aftermath of the battle, he pursued Caesar further inland, both armies stretching their supply lines, but this favored the more well-stocked Pompeians. Caesar was finally bottled up near Pharsalus, and for days the armies stared one another down, both reluctant to engage, though we know not whether this was cowardice on the part of the commanders, or the last remaining embers of their close friendship, manifesting in a hesitance to begin a Roman bloodbath. Eventually, however, Pompey was goaded by the senatorial elites into attacking Caesar, trusting in his skill and his numerical superiority to carry the day for him. The oligarchs were confident. However, the omens were murky, and the day before the battle, Pompey dreamed that as he entered his theater, the people clapped their hands, and that he decorated a temple of Venus Victrix with many spoils. On some accounts, he was encouraged, but on others depressed by the dream. He feared lest the race of Caesar, which went back to Venus, was to receive glory and splendor through him. Indeed, it was the negative interpretation that was to be vindicated, as Pompey was abandoned by fortune, and his forces would be utterly routed, his army broken as a cohesive fighting force. Caesar's army was smaller, but it was better trained and much more disciplined. Caesar had also chosen the battlefield well, utilizing terrain to minimize the impact of Pompey's superior numbers, and hugging a river so that any flanking movement could only come from one direction. He also held a small force in reserve that repulsed Pompey's inevitable cavalry charge, which was made up primarily of inexperienced nobles. Their disorderly retreat crashed back into Pompey's line, opening up gaps that were quickly, brutally, and methodically exploited by Caesar's veteran legions. Morale rapidly collapsed, and cohesion broke within a matter of minutes as panic and self-preservation overtook honor, orders, and duty. Pompey's army was suddenly no more. The disintegration of the army serves as a reminder of why ancient battles tended to be such lopsided affairs. The majority of casualties occurred when armies broke formation, an illustration of the paradox that occurs when soldiers feel that the battle is lost, so abandon formations that provide protection, and instead seek to set out on their own. This is, ironically, what often seals their fate. But, fortunately for Pompey's fleeing legions, Caesar was seeking what he called a new type of victory, one where his mastery and command were reflected not in piles of enemy corpses, but in his clemency and ability to forgive those who had taken up arms against him. This leniency had been central to his approach in dealing with Romans since the start of the war. Pompey announced that he would treat as enemies those who did not take up arms for the government. Caesar gave out that those who were neutral and of neither party would be numbered with his friends. But initially, this more relaxed approach may have even worked against him, as the elite reasoned that it was better to ask for Caesar's forgiveness than declare open opposition to Pompey. However, after the decisive Battle of Pharsalus, many of Pompey's senatorial and equestrian supporters would flock to Caesar's banner. Some may still have expected that the previous clemency had all been an act to split the opposition, and that they would be treated as Sulla had treated his foes. But all found welcome relief in Caesar's mercy. Indeed, the only optimate executed in the aftermath of Pharsalus was Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus, a staunch opponent of Caesar who had already surrendered once, and been granted a pardon on the condition that he not take up arms against Caesar again. Mark Antony personally killed him for this breach of faith, not because of his initial opposition to Caesar. The common soldiers that escaped the slaughter also found themselves forgiven by Caesar, and were promptly enlisted in his legions, adding to Caesar's strength for a war that he knew was not yet over. For despite the totality of Caesar's victory, the grandest prize had eluded him. Pompey, the man he most wanted to express his magnanimous clemency towards, had slipped away, and was now on the run. The all-conquering general, the man who even in his advanced age had defeated Caesar at Dyrrhachium, was now a fugitive, traveling with an entourage so small that he didn't even have a slave to remove his shoes or wash his feet. Pompey was not on the run from Caesar's vengeance, but his clemency. He knew that Caesar sought to end the war through reconciliation, but Pompey could not stomach the idea of being Caesar's equal, let alone his subordinate. His pride was too great to abide anything but the praise he felt he was due as the foremost man in the state. In the words of the poet Lucan, "There will be no loyalty between associates in tyranny, and no power will tolerate a partner." Here, Again, we must pause to reflect on who the main driver of the civil war was. Caesar is often given the lion's share of the blame for the war that brought so much death and destruction to the Roman world. And it is frequently claimed that it was his own arrogance and ambition which caused him to cross the Rubicon and plunge Rome into civil war, all because he could not accept political marginalization. I've pushed back on this idea before as overly simplistic, but even if we accept the broad strokes of the argument, should the same criteria not be applied to Pompey after Pharsalus? By reconciling and wedding his authority to Caesar's, the conflict would have come to an end overnight. Unlike Caesar, Pompey knew he had no reason to fear for his life, and Caesar's pattern of clemency meant that he need not even fear an end to his political influence. But to Pompey, accustomed as he was to his unquestioned place at the center of Roman politics, any loss of prestige was so unconscionable as to be worth continuing the war indefinitely. So, Pompey ran, and considered his next steps, debating whether to seek refuge in Parthia or to flee to Egypt. Eventually, it was decided that courting Parthian support for a war against Romans was a bridge too far, and Pompey elected to enlist the Egyptians as allies, counting on his strong ties to the region and the personal debt that the pharaoh owed him for securing the kingdom for his father. So, his ragtag band set sail for Egypt, and hoped to reunite with the remainder of his army in Africa after securing Ptolemy's support. Though this appeared the better option, Pompey knew that there were risks in placing his trust in Ptolemy. But he felt he had no choice. The only alternative was peace. The only alternative was accepting forgiveness and an inferior position in Rome. So Pompey headed for the Egyptian shore, and an uncertain fate. After embracing Cornelia, who was bewailing his approaching death, he ordered 2 centurions to go into the boat before him, besides Philip, one of his freedmen, and a servant named Scythes. And, while Achillas was already stretching out his hand to him from the boat, turned towards his wife and son, and repeated the verses of Sophocles,